Hello and welcome to the channel. This is Steel City Knives. As you can see from the thumbnail, we're going to be doing question and answers with Rowland Brant. And as you can see from the screen, this is the selection that he put forward. So if you don't know, if you're new to the channel, basically I ask people in the community to share their collection with all of us, and then I do a bit of talking over the top of them. After we've shown their collection, I thought I'd put 10 questions together. I put them on my community page. People have added or put questions they want to have answered, so I'll be giving them a shout out along the way as well. So some 10 questions. We'll try and rattle through them as fast as we can. Some brilliant questions here, and I thank everybody that have put some questions forward. And thank you, Rowland, for allowing us to look at your phenomenal knife collection. And hopefully we will revisit Rowland's further down the line, because he's got some amazing Sheffield knives. He's got a brilliant Jack Wolf collection. He's got 5 Jack Wolfs. You know, he's got such an eclectic collection, and it'd be good to do another video on it. So, right, let's have a look. Number 1. If you could only collect one maker, one brand, which one would it be? And this question is from MB_EDC. So he's got a brilliant channel on YouTube, predominantly does EDC stuff, but he's slowly becoming a knife guy, I think, and he's collecting, he's getting a bit of a knife collection now, even though he's massively in denial, but you are a knife guy now, MB. But yeah, so right, basically, Rowland had a phenomenal answer for this, and it's a brilliant. So he put Taylor's Eyewitness. So they're a Sheffield brand. I'm sure we're all familiar with Taylor's Eyewitness. I'll tell you a little bit of history about them now, just a little snippet. So in 1820, John Taylor founded a workshop in the heart of Sheffield. 1838, Taylor was granted the Eyewitness trademark, and obviously he's been making knives ever since, or the company has. So you've got a wide variety of really historic brand that has made some phenomenal knives, and he mentions one a bit later down as one of his favourite knives in the collection. But brilliant choice. I love Taylor's Eyewitness. I've just picked up a couple of vintage ones recently that I'll be showing on the channel hopefully soon. But yeah, absolutely love them, and a brilliant answer, Rowland. Right, number 2, what started them collecting? And this is from Drew White. So Drew White's the person that I've also done this with, and he's shown his collection off. And basically, Rowland has said, like Drew, he had a pocket knife from a young age. It was like the done thing back then. Most, you know, young children had them, young lads had them, and they just went out into like the, he said, the beach or farm field, and just have an adventure basically. And it was, you know, nobody batted an eyelid. And so basically it's what Drew said. And I can relate to that, because when I was younger, I was one of 4. We was just told to get out of the house, and you just did. You came back when it was dark, you just out in the woods having a laugh and having an adventure. I can't remember if I had a knife back then. I can remember my old man buying me a Victorinox when I was really young, and I cut my finger quite badly with it, and he took it off me. But so yeah, probably not as free as their childhood, but I feel sorry for the youngins these days that don't sort of get to appreciate that sort of childhood, really. But okay, so number 3, and this is from my mate Retro Stu. So any rules to your collecting? So he gave some examples here of, is there a set quantity you'll go to and you won't surpass that? Or money, is there a money range that you sort of stick within? There's a couple of examples he gave there. So Rowland gave a very rock and roll answer for this. He said no rules, absolutely no rules. And he did give an example. So money wise, he's got sort of ranging from a £20 knife to a £300 knife. But I love that answer. No rules. Well done. It's fair play, Rowland. That's cool. So number 4, steel type. What's your favourite steel type? And this is from Ian Rosie. And he says he doesn't have one, but he prefers stainless. So this is quite a good question, really. And it does divide people, I think. Some people love carbon, some people love stainless. I'm easy, really. I like a bit of both. I like carbon as sort of a user. Obviously, it gets patinaed. It's quite easy to sharp, easy to bring back. But for a collector, I do like stainless, because you can just put it away, forget about it. It's not a fussy steel. You know, it's not as precious like carbon. Carbon, you have to, you know, make sure you keep an eye on it, oil it up, you know. So I'm in two minds really, but there's definitely camps out there, isn't there, that prefer stainless. Some people prefer carbon. Some people like that patina weathered look. Some people like shiny. So, but yeah, Rowland's definitely in the stainless camp, which is fair enough. I always find it really refreshing to find people like that. A big YouTuber that I really enjoy watching is Slick Slicers. I think he's quite renowned for saying he likes shiny and stainless steel blades. And you know, I get it. I get the whole stainless steel thing. And once you've got like quite a few knives, just to put them away and forget about them, it's nice. And I get it. I really do. But yeah, so right, number 5, most carried knife, and this is from North Star Knife Reviews, and brilliant channel again. I'm a big fan of his. I watch most of it, or watch more or less everything he puts out. Really good channel. Subscribe if you're not already. So this one I had to chuckle a little bit. So Rowland's got an absolutely insane knife collection. He's got some phenomenal knives. Like I say, he's got 5 Jack Wolfs. He's got some phenomenal Sheffield pieces. He's shown his African custom knives, and his most used knife is a Whitby Mint. So, but we've all got those beater knives, the ones when you've got these really expensive knives. Some people do carry them, and don't get me wrong, I do, and some people just have them as Sunday best. But you know, I think we've all got beater knives, and this is probably his beater knife. So it's a Whitby Mint. So Whitby is a UK company. They make their knives in China and they sell them over here. But Whitby generally, this particular knife. So basically, when James Brand first came around, they brought out 3 knives. I can never remember the names of them, but I'll put them up on the screen now. I had the County. I didn't have a James Brown County. I had the Whitby rip-off version of the County, and it looks like Rowland has done the same here. He's bought the one that looks a bit like, well, it don't look like it. It's exactly the same as the knives that James Brown brought out. Build quality, everything. So James Brown used the Sandvik 12C27. So basically Whitby have got the same on their knives, but a fraction of the cost. It's like a quarter of what James Brown was charging. Now James Brand said they were made in USA, I believe. What I think they did, they bought the parts in China, probably put them together in the USA. Whitby just had everything done in China and brought it over here, but just ripped the design off completely. So it obviously wasn't trademarked, or I don't know, the legality side of it, but I went with Whitby and bought one because I quite like the designs, and it was, like I say, cheap as chips to get them from Whitby. But yeah, so that's his most used knife. So, and he did say it's mainly because it's usually in his work pants. He obviously does a bit of work, and it's about one of the only few knives he's got with a pocket clip, so, and he must really like that pocket clip. But we've all got those little soft spot for the beater knives or something that we used it. And Sandvik, so that Sandvik 12C27 is a perfectly fine steel to work with, and a real good steel. I quite like a Sandvik steel. So yeah, I thought that was a brilliant knife to pick, really, and I was quite, you know, nice, mate, to be honest. But right, so what we got? Plan for the collection once you are gone. This is when you're passed away, and this question was put forward by Zen Ali. We all know Zen Ali is a big part of the community, and I love this question. I was umming and ahhing whether to put it in, because it may be seen as a bit doom and gloom, but my missus really enjoyed this question. Thought it was a really good question to ask, so it made it in. And to be honest, it is interesting. It really is interesting. Now, Rowland has no plans, but it's always good to have a plan, definitely. Because you don't want, I always think, I don't want somebody to just see them and then maybe auction them off or just get rid of them and not know the true value of individual ones. Now, don't get me wrong, there'll probably be some shrewd knife lover out there that gets an absolutely brilliant deal, so it's quite nice in that respect that somebody's a fellow knife lover's winning out there. But I don't know, but I think a lot of mine will be going to my children and maybe some nieces and nephews and things like that. But it's nice to carve it up and say, right, that's going to them, that's going to them. So I do like the question. I know a lot of people in the knife community have answered this question sort of just when it's come up in conversation and things like that. But as Rowland said, he has no plans currently. So, right, number 7. What is your Grail knife? And I like this answer as well. He said he doesn't have one. So Rowland strikes me as the sort of person, judging from his knives, if he wants something, he'll just go and get it, which is absolutely brilliant, and fair play to you. And so he probably did have a Grail knife and then he bought it. He's on to his next Grail knife, so fair play. I really appreciate that answer, and that's what I like about these sort of 10 questions. But I've only done 2 so far, and although there has been some similar ones, similar answers, there's definitely differences out there, and it's nice seeing everybody's point of view and take on things. Right, number 8, favourite / worst knife. So this is where his Taylor Eyewitness comes into it, and look at this thing. This is the Taylor's Eyewitness Mother of Pearl Barlow, and it is stunning, absolutely gorgeous. I agree with you. I concur with you. That would be my favourite knife if it was in the collection. It is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and I love it. I think it's absolutely stunning. Couldn't agree with you more. Just, I didn't think I was a big Mother of Pearl fan, to be honest, but I've had a few recently. I've sort of picked a few vintage pieces up, nowhere near this sort of quality or, but there's something about it. It's a stunning material to behold, really. But yeah, definitely. So, and his worst knife, this is an interesting one. He's picked the Rough Rider Apter. He said it was the worst hafting / finishing he'd ever seen on a knife, and I think he returned it. So I've not got one of these in the collection. I'm quite tempted to get one now just to see what's going on. But so I've heard a lot of positive reviews out in the community about these. They had a lot of different blade shapes and a lot of different cover materials or handle materials. I think it's shrew construction, isn't it? But and they're sort of interchangeable. So it got really good positive feedback, and a lot of people saying it's really good. So again, it's nice hearing somebody's difference of opinion. So he wasn't enamoured with it, and I returned it by the looks of it, and thought it was one of his worst knives. So, but it never really spoke to me, so I never ended up picking it up. But I did watch Tim's School of Fish did one where he got the copper scales and he oxidised it, and that looked really cool. I really like the idea of that. Again, it goes back to sort of like modding your knives, and if I had a bit more time, it'd be brilliant to do stuff like that. Just make it your own, really. But yeah, it's one that never really appealed to me, but I'm tempted to pick it up now just to see what the crack is. But yeah, that was quite interesting, basically. Right, question 9. How many in your collection? And he's put 97 currently. And this is my favourite one. Question 10. Any advice for fellow knife collectors? And I love this. And I'm one of these where I listen to people that have been doing something a bit longer, or, like they always say, oh, you never listen to your elders. Or I'm one of these guys that do, because they've lived it, they've done it, and take heed of what they're saying, basically. That's my sort of motto. And I love hearing stuff like this. I'll give you a good example. Recently, Rick over on Warthog, he's on a Discord that I'm on, and he mentioned about how to store your knives. He stores his with little airtight baggies, and he puts the little silicone sachets in there sort of to soak up the moisture. So you've got essentially like a closed environment that you've controlled then. And he said he's always done it sort of ever since he's collecting, never had any issues with like storing, because obviously he's got a lot of vintage and antique knives. And he shared that with a lot of the younger guys, or just everybody on the Discord, and a lot of us have adopted that now. I'm a bit late to the party. I just bought some the other day actually, and waiting for them to come. But I know Gunslinger Cow is, that's how he stores his knife, and it's brilliant. And that's what it's nice having that advice from some of the guys that have been doing it a bit longer and all the rest of it. So we listen and we take note, and it's good that you're sharing the knowledge with us. So, and his answer to this, I actually asked him this before I had the set questions, so he'd already answered it, and he said, you know my answer to that. And Drew sort of said exactly the same thing. It's collect what you enjoy. Don't get caught up in fads or what's the best thing at the moment. Just collect something that speaks to you, that you enjoy, that means something to you. And I thought and you know, he said you won't go wrong, and he's hit the nail on the head really. And I'm trying to collect like that. I'm trying to keep it fresh and just get what I like. It might not always be well received on here, but it's just stuff I enjoy collecting. So, like I say, you can't go wrong then, unless you like it. And I traded some knives recently, and I'm weird. Sometimes you get really attached to stuff, but you know, I was trying to free up some space in the collection. It was before I started this channel actually, and I regret it now. So I'm a bit strange where when I do have something and I've probably used it a few times, I end up liking everything I've got. I'm easily pleased, I suppose. But yeah, I thought that was a brilliant advice. And thank you very much for your time, Rowland. Thank you, Drew White. So we'll be revisiting Rowland's collection hopefully again in the future and going through some more. And same with Drew. The next person that will be showing some knives, Ian's going to get involved. He's already sent me a few knives from his collection, and we're in for a treat. They're absolutely brilliant. Can't wait to show them. So we'll probably do that in the new year now. We'll see. But thank you all for getting involved. I've really enjoyed this series. I hope you have too, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.